This story is about one of my favorite songs by one of the most beloved bands in the entire world. It begins on September 29th, 2008 at a Radiohead show. Thom Yorke, Radiohead's frontman, is at the piano, and he's about to play a song called VideoTape. Or at least he's trying to.
Temporary loss of information.
Thom Yorke, perhaps one of the most critically acclaimed musicians of his generation, can't seem to play 4 quarter notes.
This tune called VideoTape that we got, that was just driving me crazy, absolutely crazy. We kind of had an idea, but we just couldn't see it through.
You see, the reason for all this is that this song draws its power from a musical illusion.
Yeah, Radiohead are purposefully hiding something in plain sight, or what you might say plain hearing.
That's Warren Lane. He teaches his music students how to think just like Radiohead.
For him to struggle with that, it shows that he's actually hearing something a lot more complex.
The mystery is so deep that Warren made a 30-minute video trying to decipher it.
I was getting obsessed. I was getting totally obsessed with this thing.
VideoTape was officially released in 2007, but it wasn't the first time fans had heard the song. They were actually workshopping it in 2006, most notably at Bonnaroo, and it sounds completely different. On fan forums, Reddit, and YouTube, there's an endless debate over which one is better. The Bonnaroo version is energetic and anthemic. The album version sounds like a funeral march. The two versions of the song couldn't sound more different, but they actually share a common musical DNA. And that DNA actually explains Thom's messy start. You see, the piano in VideoTape is actually syncopated. So to fully understand what's going on here, you have to know how to count music.
The vast majority of contemporary music is written in 4/4 time, which means that there are 4 quarter notes in a measure.
The downbeat carries the most amount of stress, and it anchors the rhythm of the song. You can subdivide the 4 quarter notes into 1/8 notes, and those 1/8 notes can then be subdivided into 16th notes. So try clapping on beats 2 and 4. Seems easy, right? Syncopation happens when you accent those notes outside of the beat on those ands. And that is exactly what Thom Yorke is doing with his piano to pull off this illusion.
That piano should happen on beat 1, but it doesn't.
In Thom's head, it's shifted an 1/8 note ahead on the and between 4 and 1, syncopating the entire rhythmic pulse of the song. So here's how you should have clapped.
Have I already lost everybody? No one's watching this video anymore.
Probably, but let's take a step back. Syncopation is the backbone of a lot of genres of music like Afrobeat, funk, and jazz. It's meant to make music sound loose and fun, and it's really easy to spot in a song.
And that's kind of the heart of why syncopation is so cool. It's just because it's interesting. It kind of breaks up what otherwise would be like a rhythmic monotony in the song.
If syncopation is so common, then why is it a challenge for him? And if it is syncopated, why does this rhythm sound so monotonous? In Douglas Field's book, Why We Snap, he points out this very conundrum. He says brain waves become phase shifted so that the peak of the brain waves always occur at a precise point relative to the next beat of a rhythm. In short, rhythmic sound synchronizes the brain waves of groups of people.
So I'm going to do an impression, okay, of what it sounds like to the audience members that don't know that VideoTape is in fact syncopated. So they hear the piano, boom, 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 boom. Their head goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Or they clap on the wrong beat. Radiohead is not just fighting against their musical instincts when they hear that piano, they're fighting against their own brainwaves.
As I went on and I looked deeper into this, quagmire, I found out that Phil had trouble finding out where beat 1 was. And I'm like, Phil's the drummer. What do you mean you don't know where beat 1 was? And in piano, that's like not knowing where middle C is.
Here's one reason why. Take a listen to this clip. That kick drum, an instrument usually reserved for establishing where the downbeat is, isn't playing on the downbeat, it's playing with the piano.
Hearing it as the end of 4 is, especially without anything hitting on the downbeat, that is complex. That requires a really strong sense of internal rhythm and the ability to kind of tune out something else that's, screaming at you, this is the downbeat, and you say, no, that's not the downbeat.
That's really the heart of it. Tom's piano, with that kick drum, begins to take on the feeling of the beat. And what gets established is pure deception.
That is why Tom York is struggling to play in the 93 Feet East version.
Temporary loss of information.
Right there, Johnny Greenwood is giving him a hi-hat on beats 2 and 4. And so he'll try to play his piano not on the hi-hat, but just after the hi-hat. You're seeing a picture of a man who is using 100% of his mental energy to try and get something just right.
Tom is playing his piano as if he's joining in with something that's actually already playing. And when you look for this, you can actually see it. You can hear a little metronome very faintly at the beginning and end of the song if you turn the volume up.
It's kind of like a train, and it's like running, and you're like, I gotta catch this train, I gotta catch this train. And if you miss it, you miss it. And music can be very, very unforgiving like that.
As fans are bobbing their heads and even clapping like this, the band is doing something totally different to actually find the beat. Especially
Colin Greenwood, the bass player. He's playing this really simple thing, and he's going like this. He's just doing one of these, and it's just like, where is this? Is he in a club right now? I don't know if this guy knows that he's playing a slow song.
If we simply superimposed a backbeat in the right spot, you'll hear that club song they're dancing to. The appeal of syncopation is that you can hear it, you can dance to it. It serves as a rhythmic surprise in a song. And that's probably why Radiohead fans love the Bonnaroo version so much. You can hear the syncopation.
There's this kind of, just this moment in the song where it just kind of turns from that subdued energy, and it just turns and it becomes frenetic. And that moment I'm referring to is when Phil starts to play a simple backbeat. The only thing left for me to acknowledge was, if it is syncopated, why the hell did they bury it? The only answer I could come up with is just because they really like it. Because they really, really like amusing themselves and challenging themselves.
Do you have a favourite song on the record?
VideoTape. I wanted to put it first, but until someone pointed out that if it did that, everybody would turn straight off. Personally speaking, that's my favourite thing we've ever created, because it has this inexpressible substance thing going on behind the specifics of the song. So I'm really, really proud of that.
You know how everybody thinks the song is kind of like, the band actually hears it more like dun 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 It's double the speed. In fact, it's 154.78 BPM. And don't ask me how long it took me to figure that out.